Hi, Antoinette and Peter. Welcome, and thank you so much for making the time available, and that on a Saturday. We really appreciate that. We have a series of questions on tax, on IT, on marketing, etc. So I'd like to ask you to please just introduce yourself, where you're from, a little bit of background, and then if you could proceed with the questions and the answers. I may at times interrupt you if I want to expand on a question. Good. So
Awesome.
Please, over to you, Antoinette. Thanks, Amal.
Thank you, Almarie. I'm Antoinette Rall from Rall Consultants. I have over 30 years experience in the finance industry. I started my early career at the sales office. I've moved on, I've worked at financial services industries such as Discovery, Momentum, Liberty, and Alexander Forbes, but to name a few. I have got quite a lot of experience in tax and bookkeeping, and I'm here to assist companies and individuals with the challenges that they face with SARS.
Ah, great, brilliant, a good contact to have. When were you with Alexander Forbes? I used to work there as well, but that's many years ago.
I didn't work directly at Alexander Forbes, but with a broker selling the Alexander Forbes products and being in the industry.
Yes.
In the brokerage industry.
Brilliant, good. But the tax one I'm happy with, because there we definitely need an expert to help us. Okay.
Shall I move on to the questions?
I think let's just quickly introduce Peter while and then we'll hand back to you, Antoinette. Thanks, Amal.
Okay. Also, good afternoon, Almarie. Thank you for having us this afternoon. I'm Peter Rall, also from Rall Consultants. That's why we've got the same surname. My area of expertise is IT lecturing and training, with also technical experience on the various industries. So all the way through from sales, marketing, advertising. I've done it all, telesales. I've done the lecturing with regards to software, soft skills, hardware, training people in A+, Network+, Security+, Server+, all those different credentials. And it's really nice to be here on your platform today. Thank you for inviting us.
Well, thanks for being here, as I said, especially on a Saturday afternoon. But we just find that is the only time that you can really schedule people, because everybody is busy during the week. But we really appreciate it. I just quickly want to ask you, so do you keep up to date with the latest technology, Peter? Is that a
Yes, I do. I'm currently in the process of doing my whole Microsoft certified trainer upgrades with my training again. I need one more exam, then I'm up and current with the latest Office 2019 and Office 365 credentials again. So really enjoying it and staying up to date. The latest N+, the latest A+, the latest Security+, and Server+, all these technologies, as they get upgraded, I need to do the exams with them in order to be able to facilitate the skills to others.
But that's brilliant. So you have a wide variety that you can actually consult on. Excellent, excellent. Because often people zoom in on one skill, and they become experts in that one skill, but it's good to have everything in one person.
Yep.
Good. Antoinette, shall we switch back to you? And you've got your questions. Will you just read the question before you start answering?
Okay. The first question I received is it turnover or profit that determines that a business must register for tax?
Mm-hmm.
That is a very, it's not a difficult question to answer, but one must understand that there is a turnover tax and there is corporate tax. So for turnover tax, you will then work on the turnover of a company and not on the profit. So also, as soon as a person commences a business, in terms of tax law, you have to register within 21 days. So it doesn't specify as soon as you start making turnover or as soon as you start making profit. So the answer would be, as soon as the person commences a business, within 21 days, they have to register for tax.
That's good to know, yes, because I think a lot of people are under the impression you don't have to. But is there a certain level where you have to start paying tax? I believe previously it was something like 20,000 Rand turnover, you don't pay tax. Is that correct? Does that still apply?
Okay, turnover tax has got its own tax scales. So for up to 335,000 Rand turnover, it's at the tax rate of 0%. Okay, then you've got your small business corporation.
Is that per annum? 300
per annum, yes. They work on per annum.
Okay.
Then you've got your small business corporations, but you've got to be very careful because you've got to see where your company falls in, whether it qualifies for turnover tax, whether it qualifies for small business corporation, or whether it will be taxed as corporate. So your small business corporation has got a 0% tax up to 83,100, but not everybody meets the criteria of being regarded as a small business corporation. There are exclusions, so you've got to make sure that you do qualify as a small business corporation. And then your company corporate tax is your 28% margin.
Okay, great. So that's two totally separate taxes. And I take it for detail like that, when do you qualify? People can just contact you and you can discuss it case by case on the individual.
Yes, there's a lot to take into account when you decide, especially if you decide you want to start a business. There are so many various entity types that you can choose from, and you've got to make sure that you understand the tax implications and also the bigger picture and the long term, because with turnover tax, once your turnover exceeds R1 million, you have to exit the system. So you've got to look at long term. It cannot be a short term solution. You've got to think long term. If you want to be a sole prop, how soon is my tax going to be at the marginal tax rate versus having to pay company tax? So all those calculations need to be taken into consideration when making a decision what type of business you want to create.
Certainly best to talk to an expert, absolutely.
It is best.
Can I quickly ask you a personal question from my side? We have, we couldn't register an NPO or an NGO. We had to register a non-profit company for wheelchair users. We host dances for wheelchair users. So we don't make a profit at all, and it's registered as a non-profit company. Does that company also have to register for tax?
Yes, every company has to register for tax. You have to be compliant. You have to submit your tax returns annually. Some of those questions will also follow on when to submit tax returns. But the minute you start a company, you basically have to file annual tax returns with the Revenue Office.
I just want
to be compliant.
Yes. And I'll just leave it to you to carry on with the rest of the questions, please.
Okay, so the next question was from what amount must a business register for tax? So I think the first question basically, the first answer basically answered that it is not depending on threshold or earnings. The minute you commence a business, you have to register within 21 days. And I think a lot of people confuse business tax with individual tax.
Yes.
And that is maybe why these questions are filtering through.